Hey there, and welcome back to Utility Sports. We are going to break down the news of Evan Turner joining the Celtics coaching staff. He's going to be part of the player development with Boston. He played 2 years with the Celtics, 2014 through the 2016 season. So, kind of big news and very unusual. Not often do you see a 32-year-old get a job in the league after being in free agency, which is really odd. How did this conversation come up? Why did they decide Evan Turner was a good fit? It's just kind of a lot of interesting things. Sometimes you'll see players after they retire at age 38, maybe take on a role or take a year off and then join a staff. But he joins us at age 32 with the team he played only 2 years with. Sheldon, kind of break this down.
Yeah, looking at Turner here, obviously a week and a half here into free agency. Obviously, at this point, kind of notices he doesn't have much of a market as a player at this point. And now you're seeing him join the Celtics coaching staff in a player development role, a team that is known for having a really good player development system already. Obviously, have developed players like Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown in the past, and historically been really good at developing players. Did so with Rajon Rondo as well, back from 2008 and on. So now you're looking at Evan Turner taking a chance to, further his basketball career outside of playing. You're moving into a role of development, obviously something that is going to be new to him. He's not going to have a lot of experience in this. He's been a basketball player the last, 18 years of his life, essentially, going back to his time at Ohio State and before that in high school and all that. And now Evan Turner's getting a chance to turn the corner kind of on what his career looks like. Maybe this is the stepping stones into possibly a future assistant GM or even possible real GM, something we saw with James Jones now in Phoenix, one of LeBron's former teammates. And now Evan Turner's getting a shot to join a front office role and a player development role, and then potentially continue to further his basketball career from there.
Because if I'm not mistaken, he had signed that 4 year, $72 million contract. That was during the 2016 offseason. And he was able to cash in there. Obviously, his career has not panned out how he was envisioning it. But it's just kind of a weird thing. He came off the big contract, was making big money, but now he's sitting in a coaching role, which I'm just very curious to know who was the guy from the Boston Celtics organization that said, let's go bring him in as a coach. I wonder if they had any dialogue in terms of signing a contract, and then maybe just talked about his basketball career, where he felt he was at this point in his career, because obviously he wasn't going to get a big contract at all. He was going to get the minimum no matter where he went. If he had many offers, I'm just kind of curious on that front.
Yeah, definitely. I think I was kind of surprised myself when I saw the news break that he was going to the Celtics, but as a member of the staff there, I kind of expected him to play at least one or two more seasons in the league on the minimum, like you had mentioned. And looking at Evan Turner's playing career as a whole, a little disappointing, honestly. Was the number 2 overall pick in his draft, a player that many had thought could be kind of a franchise-changing point forward. Kind of came into that role at Ohio State and really emerged there. Didn't quite have the career many had hoped he would, like you had mentioned, but I think his relationship probably with Danny Ainge that he formed in Boston when he had first signed that contract there to play with the Boston Celtics and probably other members of that management group. He probably has a pretty strong relationship with them. So I think the fit will be seamless there. He obviously is worked with Brad Stevens in the past, and I think that he'll fit right in with Boston and hopefully help them continue to develop other great players moving forward. At this point, obviously, their view on their franchise, not as much player development at this point, and it should be more focused on gearing to, make small changes to win a championship. But at the same point, there's still player development that needs to happen. We've seen this with the Toronto Raptors. While they've been, an annual contender, they've still managed to develop guys like Terrence Davis, Fred VanVleet, Chris Boucher, and so on. So now you're looking at Boston kind of in that similar situation, and hopefully Evan Turner can help them really churn out some more talent.
Now, my final prompt to you is, do you think that this will be a continued trend in the league, or do you see this as kind of an outlier signing or converting a player to a coach?
I think that this is something that we'll continue to see somewhat. I don't think it'll be nearly as drastic as Evan Turner as a 32-year-old coming into this role. I think, like you had mentioned more, it'll kind of stick to that more, consistent 35 to 40-year-old type of player, a guy that has had a longer career and then wants to move into that role. Especially with that gap year, like you had mentioned, there's some rumors that Dirk Nowitzki might get a job with the Dallas Mavericks again in some type of development role. Obviously, Steve Nash had just moved into coaching for the Brooklyn Nets, something that's quite rare to see a player go from nothing to head coach, something Jason Kidd had also done in the past. But I think Evan Turner is going to have a little bit more of a slow roll here. Obviously, didn't have quite the playing success as Nash or Kidd either, which has something to do with this. But I think Turner should be happy getting this job and this opportunity to further his career. And I think this is something we could see going forward.
Yeah, thanks everybody for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe if you do like NBA content or any other NBA content that you would like to see. Please mention in the comment section below and also like the video. So thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you have a great rest of your day.